The race for Congress, Democrat versus Democrat. First, it was John Larson challenged from within his own party. Now Joe Courtney is getting the same treatment. Joining me now is Kyle Gauck. He is a Democrat who is challenging Congressman Joe Courtney for the nomination in the 2nd Congressional District. And Mr. Gauck, good to see you here in the program.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Dennis.
So he's a sitting congressman. Why did you decide to challenge him this year?
Well, so that's simple. Look, I'm just a normal person, right? I'm like everybody else. I live in East Hampton, in the 2nd District. You know, I've got 2 beautiful daughters who are extremely talented, and I'm worried about their future. And when I looked at what leadership was doing in Washington, right, like everyone else would in a time of turmoil, I didn't exactly agree with the moral compass that Joe was voting with. And when I look at my representative, I want to feel that I am represented. And just like everything else in my life, including my service in the Army, whenever I feel like there's an injustice or I can do something better, I stand up to do that thing. And I thought, well, why is politics no different?
Tell me a little bit about your resume, your background.
Sure. So I guess we'll start as a kid, right? I grew up in a house with less than a lot of means, right? So I knew what it was like to struggle and what it's like to fight for everything you have. That taught me a lot about community, and that brought me to the Army, right? So I joined the Army to do more, to be better, right? And after I got out of the Army, I moved to New York City. I met my wife, and we went back to Connecticut, decided to have a family, that kind of thing. I spent the better half of the last decade working for the aerospace and defense industry, and that kind of brought us here today.
So when you knock on doors around the 2nd District, which is a big district, and it's very diverse in terms of the area and the towns and the whole bit, you're going to knock on the door and you're going to basically ask people to fire their Congressman Joe Courtney.
Yes.
What is the argument why he should be fired, in your judgment?
Again, we're talking about the Democrat Party here, right? And there is a fight inside the Democrat Party on which way we're going to lead, right? And personally, for my moral compass, I stand with the betterment of people. And that Joe Courtney has voted for things like a pro-ICE bill, right? He's voted for things like tabling the impeachment articles against Donald Trump. In this current political climate, I don't feel like that is the right moral decision. And so again, that's, I think we can do better.
What have you learned as you go around the district? What are people telling you they want?
Sure. So, a lot of the conversations I'm having I hear 2 different things. A lot of it is surrounding what's happening at the federal level, right, of course. And then the other issue that I hear a lot about is affordability. And the affordability crisis is important, and it's real, it's happening. And so we need to make sure we're doing a better job holding corporations accountable, and we need to bring down prices, and we need to make things more affordable for everyone in the 2nd District.
How would you grade the job that Joe Courtney is doing? Grade. If you had to give him a letter grade.
Yeah, that's fair. I've never been a teacher before. I would give Joe, let's say, a B. I think a B. He does a decent job.
I don't feel he should be replaced.
Sure, absolutely. I don't think we should dismiss the fact that he does bring in contracts. They call him 2-sub Joe for a reason, right? He brings in work for the district. I think there's more that can be done there. I think, like I said, spent the better half of a decade doing contracts for aerospace and defense industry. I know that there's gaps there and there's room to improve. So I think there's more that can be done there. But he does a good job at bringing in the contracts, and I don't want to dismiss that. Where I think he falls short is making sure that the people are put forth and in the front of his voting.
There are some younger Democrats out there, which you'd be included, who are out there saying that, some of these members of Congress have served too long. They've been there for many, many years. They're older now. Do you think that Congressman Courtney has served too long and is too old?
I'll answer the first part. I think
that's the second part too.
I think that Congressman Courtney has served too long. Yes, I believe in term limits. I believe that there should be a good cycle of, let's say, positions throughout time, right? When Congressman Courtney was first elected, the cell phone wasn't a thing, right? And now we have a digital computer in our hand. The way we govern should be based on the time we live in, and therefore I'm a huge proponent of term limits, for myself included. And I understand that that could be not popular among the current Congress because you're basically voting yourself out of a job. But I believe it's important to cycle in new, fresh perspectives, myself included. And I hope that someday I will be challenged before my term limit is up.
Do you think you'll have enough support to force a primary?
I think we're getting there. We have a lot of support right now. We have a lot of momentum behind us. I go to DTCs across the state or across the district. I go to every rally I can. I speak to everyone I can. And the support, the generosity, backing we have it's been phenomenal.
We appreciate being in the program.
Absolutely.
Kyle Gauck.
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 Kyle Gauck.
Wanted to make sure I pronounce it correctly. Gauck.
Gauck.
G-A-U-C-K. I can spell it, of course.
Yeah.
Good to see you in the program.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
And we want to point out we have invited Congressman Courtney to come on the program to talk as well. Still to come, meet the Calhoun from Yukon, and I'm not talking about Jim. And we invite you to connect with us here. Send us an email at thisweek@WTNH.com. Also connect with me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. This Week in Connecticut will be right back.